Hi, my name is Anh and I'm a physical therapist at REVO Physiotherapy.
I'm Dina. I'm a registered dietitian and board certified sport dietitian.
And today we're going to talk to you about hydration during marathon season. So Dina, can you talk to us a little bit about why hydration is so crucial?
It's very important. So we often think about fueling our runs with calories and keeping our energy up, but hydration is actually almost more important than the calories we consume. So there are a lot of roles and functions, and the importance of hydration is extremely important in terms of cardiovascular function. So the ability for our hearts to pump blood and the nutrients, oxygen and so forth that we need to the working muscle. The plasma volume, so if you just think of like a radiator hose, if that hose or the tone of that hose starts to shrink or become compromised, then we're not getting the fluid or the liquid out to the tissues in the body, and so there are consequences to that. For one, we may not sweat as well, so our core temperature regulation can be affected. And just that efficiency of cooling the body can be affected. And that has performance effects at some point. So there are a lot of issues there with hydration and controlling heart rate and things of this nature.
And super important for, race day weather, right? Like you never know what race day weather is going to be like. It can be super hot, it can be super humid. So kind of just training your body to know what to do during those environment changes.
Exactly. And one other important role of hydration and proper hydration is digestion and absorption of the calories we do decide to consume. So we may talk about that at some other point, but that's important to think of if you have a fueling plan and you don't have a hydration plan. I would say we want to prioritize the hydration because that will affect the fueling
that's a really
plan.
good point. And then, so how do you incorporate hydration into training and competition, right? Because you're never supposed to try anything new on race day.
You're not supposed to.
You should practice everything during training like it's competition.
Starting as early as you can in terms of your practice. So if your marathon is 6 months out, you don't have to wait to start practicing the proper hydration, figuring out what that is for you. Granted, if your training runs are only 30, 45 minutes, it's not a whole lot of opportunity, but it is an opportunity to work on the pre-run hydration window of time. So that's an area of time we don't want to neglect. And then as far as when your training runs get longer, in that 75-minute and above range, then thinking about race day and the weather that you'll be in, humidity and temperature-wise, and just trying to simulate as best as you can. Are you carrying your fluids, handhelds or belts? Are you relying on aid stations? And if so, trying to time your fluid intake accordingly.
And I think that's actually super important for running in Colorado, because especially on trails, like long trails, there's no water fountain out there, right? And like if you're not lucky enough where you have a coach that's going to be at every water stop for you, like you have to carry the water somehow to kind of implement it into your training.
So that timing is important, and then the amount. Of course, what's in the bottle or the flask is important as well.
So Dina, how do you monitor the amount of water loss during training? Right? Like I've heard of, weigh yourself before you run and then weigh yourself after you run. Is that something that you recommend?
I think for those of us that are heavy sweaters, or we know we're going to race in a very hot or humid condition or in a set of environmental conditions, and we're struggling with figuring out our fluid intake strategy, then doing your own sweat rate test can be super helpful. And that the easiest way is to weigh yourself before a run, track your fluid intake during, weigh yourself right after you've toweled off sweat. just so we get a good approximation of your fluid loss. And then that helps us fine tune the strategy, or just see, oh gosh, you're not as heavy a sweater as we thought, or you sweat more than we thought.
Yeah.
And we don't have to do that every single run, but maybe key training runs that are at your goal race pace, for example.
Right. Yeah.
And in the weather conditions that best simulate race day.
Okay. And then let's talk about electrolytes. So like what should be in your sports drink?
Yes, and whether we need electrolytes maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to electrolytes, sodium is the most important. It's the predominant electrolyte we lose in our sweat.
Right.
So we want to look at drinks that are out there, either provided on the race course or that we choose to carry, or the ones that work best for us, and just see what that sodium intake or sodium concentration is.
Yeah.
On the drinks, the classic sports drinks, like, I don't know if I should name names, but the classic sports drinks are trying to be all in one.
Right.
Carbs, sugar, sodium, and then the fluid itself. Right. And those aren't always the best because they don't give enough sodium per given volume. Right. So we actually want, should I mention any names or not?
I think you're fine. I mean, I'm okay to mention my favorite sports drink.
Go ahead, because I know what it is.
My favorite sports drink is Scratch Labs.
Yes. In Boulder, Colorado.
Right.
Yes.
It doesn't have a lot of extra sugar in it. It's very minimal. It has the basics, what you need. And
it's a functional drink.
Right.
So the osmolality of Scratch is designed to be well absorbed, and that sugar is there to help with the electrolyte absorption. Yeah. So that is a preferred type of sports drink or hydrator than other classic sports drinks, or even than water itself.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So moral of the story, you guys, is stay hydrated during marathon season. Super important for performance, cellular metabolism, and maintaining body functions, right?
Yes, you got it. A number of functions. Should we cheers to
We should
fluids?
cheers to fluids. Yes, absolutely.
Cheers to that.
Thank you, Dina.